For those of you who it might be your very first time on the call, this is where you want to be every single Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. 8 p.m. Central Time. I know I have to start saying that the other way around. I used to be in Central Time, so I I sometimes forget I'm on Eastern Time. But anyways, this is where you want to be every single Monday night without fail, with your pen and your notepad or your journal, with your iPad, whatever it is that you use to take notes. You want to make sure you have that with you. You're in a quiet place with nothing distracting you or keeping you from the information, as that is what is going to help you transform and change your life, your business, your bank account, all of the above, if you allow it to do so. So let me jump into the chat without further ado and see who we have on the line. I see we have Barbie chiming in from Chandler, Arizona. Dale Boudreaux chiming in from Louisiana. And I agree, sir, that is the best meeting I have ever been to as well, on the yacht. So awesome. Tania from Puerto Rico, welcome to the line. Emma from the DMV, welcome. Felicia in Arkansas, Sarah in Maryland, Kenneth in the DMV, Brad in Illinois, Mark in Los Angeles, John in Alabama, Sabrina in Houston, Gabby in Orlando, welcome. Eric in Virginia, welcome. Kathy in the great state of Georgia, welcome to the line tonight. Amanda in the DMV, April in California, Erica in Puerto Rico, Philip in Jacksonville, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dr. Arlene in Maryland, welcome. We have just a moment or two before we get started, so take these last few moments to reach out to anyone that you have that's going to be joining you on the line tonight. Make sure that they are on the line and don't miss a moment of this training. And I know that it is going to be absolutely electric. Super excited to be here and to be your host tonight. Also, a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Please make sure that your lines are muted out so we don't have any background noise or distractions on the call. Just go ahead and hit that mute feature on your phone. If you're in position to be on camera, we would love to see your faces. But if not, if you have a lot happening in the background, maybe you're driving, you're moving around, there's things that could be a distraction, that's okay. Go ahead and hit the mute on your video, and we will just have you listen in. But again, if you're in a position to be on camera, as I see some of you, many of you are, awesome. We would love to see your faces. So let me jump back into the chat as I have just another moment or two. Let's see, we have Freddie in San Antonio, welcome. Rodney.
Recording in progress.
Daryl in Virginia, welcome. Leslie in South Carolina, welcome. Davian in Virginia, welcome. Candy in Houston, welcome. Alexandra in Geneva, welcome to the line tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to step out of the way of greatness. The gentleman I have the privilege of introducing tonight is a family man. He's a military veteran, and he's been a successful entrepreneur for over 25 years. He earned millions of dollars in not one, not two, but three different industries. And he has now come out of retirement because this is the fourth industry that he is going to earn millions of dollars in as well. And most importantly, not only has he done well for himself, but he's always put his people first and put them in a position to win big as well. He has a goal to help 10,000 families generate $5,000 per month in residual recurring income over the next 2 to 5 years. But what I love most about him is he's the definition of integrity and character. And he's one of the only people that's ever been and done every single thing that he ever committed to me that he would be or do. So please, without further ado, give me some fire, give me some hearts, give me some love in the chat, and help me welcome to the line someone I'm honored to call my coach, my mentor, and my friend, the VP of Sales, Mr. Sam Bean.
Hey, energy from Carly Gwynn. As we say here in Houston, Texas, Carly gun. So I appreciate you, Carly, for keep getting us started as always, and bridging the gap and showing people how you actually are supposed to host a call, right? And so, guys, I'm excited. Any chance I get, to share, anything that I have learned over the years, I'm always excited to get that to you guys, right? They say the person who teaches the most learns the most, right? You may not take a note tonight, but every time I get this repetition in, is more and more in my spirit. I get a better understanding of it, and it becomes a part of me. So again, somebody's going to learn tonight. If not you, it'll be me. All right. So make sure you get yourself something to write with, something to write on. make sure you make your last minute text messages to your team members and let them know, hey, look, the millionaire mentorship call is happening, right? And tonight's going to be a crazy call, I can tell you. It's going to be the exact opposite of what you're expecting. But before I give you what you came for, guys, I want to make sure I give up all the credit to the people who put this platform together for us here. And got to start off with the CEOs, Mr. Winston and Mrs. Christina Navarro. Okay, when I say just amazing people, love working with them. I was just down in California with Mr. Navarro uh, this was it that last weekend. I can tell you we had a great time. Went to San Diego, did some business. I came back to LA, did some more business, and came home on fire. So a lot of big things are going to be announced to you guys real soon. And trust, it takes everything in me not to spill the beans. No pun intended. But then you have Mr. and Mrs. Rangel. Again, president and partner of the company, Mr. Pacheco, partners in the company, and then you got the SWAT team, right? You got Ed Ayala and Mr. Julio Aquino. Then you got the Aqua crew over there, Mr. Ovi One, and Mrs. Kim Bean. Guys, just amazing people. You definitely want to make sure that anytime you get in the midst of any of these people, guys, our elite leaders and people who are out here serving, take full advantage of that opportunity. Don't take them for granted. Take the information and transfer it into income. Okay. And we have a lot of the leaders in the company, guys. Just have to give the shouts out to, the leadership team and the people who are putting it together. All right. So, with that being said, we're in a new month of May, and a lot of you guys have your auto ships have run on the first, and then some of you may have had challenges with your auto ships. And so, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you go through the necessary precautions and steps that you can to make sure that you have done everything you can to get it to run. Contact the bank, let the bank know you need it to run, then try to run it in your back office. Hey, if that doesn't work, let Mr. Australia in corporate know, email them and basically CC your leader, right? That way they know what's going on and they can kind of help you keep track of things because I want to make sure you guys qualify for everything that you've worked hard for. And it's nothing like a person who was supposed to get paid on, who's supposed to be doing business for free, right? Because you got four and you're supposed to pay no more. But again, something happened and now all of a sudden you have three. Yeah, and so and now you end up seeing that $99 come from your back office. So I want to make sure we are running our businesses properly, make sure we are doing our audits, make sure at the end of every month we're looking at all the zeros, right? And so some zeros are just going to be there because they're affiliates, and some zeros are not supposed to be there because you have people who are out here building, right? And you want to make sure that they get credit for that. So the first, the 15th, the day after the first, the day after the 15th, and the last 5 days before the 30th, those are very important uh, days for you and your business. Okay. So running your numbers. If you know your numbers, you can grow your numbers, right? So that's that. Now, we got a lot of different things coming up, guys. You already know about the big announcements when it came to Zeta. Uh, Zeta is amazing. Zeta is coming right away. As a matter of fact, within a week, maybe two, Zeta is coming. Okay? And then the new upgrades and changes that they did to the travel to Aventi when it came to the programs for the national and also for our customers. I don't want to spill the beans on that one. I'll give that again to the president and the CEO. Let them do that thing, and then we have a really nice addition that we're adding to the Smart Money Club, and it's probably one of the smartest additions that we actually have. And when it comes to smart money, and I'm gonna just tell you, a lot of people are going to be extremely excited, and it's going to get some people's juices flowing. So with that, me being as vague as I can be and trying to get you guys as excited as I can, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing started. So tonight, I'm gonna take a different twist in training. And when I was just coming out of the military, and I was in my second network marketing company, and it was a legal company. Um, I actually did. I take that back. My third network marketing company, and it was a travel company at that time, and they had some products. Um, they taught a lot of personal development. They taught a lot of positive things, and they gave you a lot of things that you can do to recreate your behaviors. And we all do that, and we all focus on, all the positive things, all the right activities, and we hammer those home, right? And some of us, we get real good at it. Some of us perfect it. Some of us work real hard at it, and we beat it up. And next thing you know, that becomes who we are. But what you still have is a lot of the negative stuff. Okay, there's a lot of subconscious stuff stuff that's lurking in your subconscious, things that's been there for years, things that are being added there every day. But it's the things that have been there for years that most of us have to unearth and get rid of. Okay, and so we have to make sure that we are now aware of it, and then we have to cleanse. We have to make sure that we identify it, and we have to go out here and address it, right? And so, what I'm gonna talk about tonight, okay, are common habits and character traits that will destroy your personal and business brands. Okay, so common habits and character traits that will destroy your personal and business brands. How many of you guys know? Just about show of hands, some ones in the chat. How many of you guys know that when it comes to business, your personal brand is just as important a brand as your business brand, right? This is like some of you guys can't get business credit, so you use your personal credit, right? That's how you get your money first, a lot of times, right? And so you got to make sure that you look at the internal. You got to make sure that you go ahead and do some self-reflection, take some inventory, and become well aware and honest with who you are and who you have been and what you have in you. And I'm talking from a position of experience because, again, this is what I've done, right? I'm literally a person who grew up in the midst of bullets, in the midst of carjackings, thefts, murders, drugs. I grew up with a lot of negativity. My environment around me wasn't the healthiest. Toxic would have been, some would have been improvement, right? And so I'm just telling you right now, I know it's in me, it's around me, right? And so, and even today, and where I live at today, you get bombarded with thousands of pieces of information, a lot of it positive, a lot of it negative, but it's still coming. But it's the stuff that you grew up with. It's the stuff that you grew up around. It's the stuff that you inherited from your not so good friends, you're not so good family members, you're not so good, people who you were in the military with or in college with, whatever it is, these habits and things that you are that you embraced, they're there. Okay. Just because you change your zip code don't mean you changed who you are internally. Okay. And so, with that being said, I'm just going to go through some of these things here and kind of give you guys, some of the things that these characteristics and these habits that a lot of people have. And for the ones who you see that you identify with, so you know what, that's me. Take a look in the mirror and say, you know what, that's me. Honestly, that's me. You don't have to put that in the chat. This is your business, not ours. But own it, right? And then for the things that you have that you see that don't have anything to do with you, um, make sure you take note of what I'm saying because you're building teams and you're going to notice these things, and you probably noticed it already, but it's be a little bit more clear to you, once it's more defined. And so these are the things and these are just the things that I actually kept real close attention to and took ownership of, and not all of them, but took ownership of the ones that belong to me, but also just I continue to look at these over the years. I haven't looked at them for the last 7 or 8 years. So, but first and foremost, acting too familiar. And when I say acting too familiar, I have a nickname for that person. That person is the intruder, right? I probably have a nickname for all of them, right? But these are people who overstep their boundaries, right? These are people who ask invasive questions. I mean, you guys know people who be asking, like, they ask questions that are way too familiar and they're in your business and you're looking at them like, you don't know no better. Like, I can't believe you asked me that. I can't believe you asked her that. I can't believe you asked him that. I can't believe you said that, right? And so, you ignore the social cues like body language, right? The things that make people uncomfortable, right? Okay. You're overly presumptuous about things you assume that you know, that you're familiar with, like relationships, people's likes, dislikes, people's relationships and qualifications and experiences, things like that. You're just in somebody's business without knowing their business, right? So you're behaving and communicating with people as if you have known that person on a personal level for a long time, right? And so that's it's kind of like, you ever have somebody call your house trying to sell you something and they call you by your first name? See, when they do that to me, I hang up. You don't know me. You don't know. When you call my house and you're not my friend, you call my house, you're not my family member, right? And you're not my associate. You don't know my first name. And if you do, don't call me by my first name. That's automatically a dial tone, right? And so you have people who, again, they get real personal with you, right? But they're always in people's personal business, guys, and they always and a lot of times you'll see that they really don't get it. Okay? And so make sure you're not too familiar with people. Okay? The next one is sarcasm. And I'm like, these are just not in any order. These are just things. Right? Sarcasm. I call this person the witty critic, the witty critic. See, these are people who are often facetious and they love using backhanded compliments, right? They do. And they ask rhetorical questions and they are very passive aggressive. And it's okay. Like, so you have friends, you have families, you have spouses, like I might hear Sabrina Eddie, Sabrina might have a little sarcasm and I'll be over there like, man, Eddie, you got to get it back for that one, bro. So but that's cool because we family, right? We do our thing, but it's not cool when you do it in a professional environment. It's not cool when you do it, around when you're doing it in a joking manner, when it comes to somebody's, national or origin or somebody's language barrier, or when emotions are running high. Sarcastic is not the best thing, but sarcasm is not good, especially when you don't know a person. Okay, so when you get sensitive topics and stuff like that, guys, and you can hurt a person's feeling, that sarcasm is not the thing you want to do. Okay. The next thing is, and I say no books, no bag. No books, no bag. See, this is, and I call this one the hold up. Like the stick up, this is the hold up. This is the person who's the cog in like they say the cog in the wheel. This is the one that's got everything stopped and everything, not moving. This is the person who ruins the deals of their colleagues. This is like when back in the day I had a upline who would not, for the life of him, listen to anything personal development. He came from another company and he'd been in the industry for 17 years and he just would not learn anything. And time had passed him by. He was still living off of information he got 17 years ago. And come to find out, when I really understood what this business was about, this industry was about, I realized that at that point in time, I was talking to a person who didn't have 17 years of experience. That person had 1 year of experience that they repeated 17 times, right? And so he was stuck on the good old days, and that good old day information was outdated. So he never updated that information. And so he cost me money. He cost other people money. So I went around him and I tapped into the person who would then take me to make seven figures. Okay. And see, you have a lot of people who, when I say no books, no bag, when you're not educating yourself, guys, it's because uh, you basically are overconfident and have too much faith in your own abilities. Okay? That a person who, if you show me a person who feels like they have nothing to learn, guys, I'll show you a person who will be out of business, a person who will be dead broke, or a person who will be unhappy, full of resentment and regrets, one day, not today, right? But because you'll have a person like that will lose their whole entire team, or they'll make it to where they self sabotage and lose everything that they got, right? And so they become the holdup in everybody's business, and not just theirs, but everybody's. So they put a lid on their income, they put a lid on their team's income, right? And so they can't grow because you can't grow. So they're short-sighted, arrogant people. And I'm gonna just tell you, the more people like that you have in a company, the faster the company will crumble. That's why when you talk about, the trainings that we have, guys, and we have trainings, on a regular basis, we have archive trainings. Uh, if you have a person that's not learning, that's in your way, educationally, what you don't have is excuses at this point. Okay. What you have is opportunities based on technology to come into our back office, right? And go and get all type of information on water, solar, recruiting, building, whatever you need. Millionaire mentorship calls on Monday nights. You got YouTube library, right? All that stuff is free. Guys, you can grow now. You don't this remember, you don't have a boss here, right? You have a sponsor. That person's done their job. Their job was to give you an opportunity, and they did that. Do not let the person who's holding themselves up hold you up too, because once you're aware of it, it's no longer their fault. It's your fault. Right? Same thing with mentors, guys. Like right now, if you're a mentor, guys, I challenge each and every one of your mentors to go out there, and it don't matter what you're mentoring in. I challenge each and every one of you builder 500s and above. I don't care what your rank is. I challenge each and every last one of you to get better at what you're doing, because when people see you grow, even if you're effective, if people see you grow, what will end up happening is they'll have more faith in you than the other ones that they see stagnant. Just telling you. People want to grow with people, okay, not beyond them. All right. The next one is being a tyrant. Being a tyrant, the narc, aka the narcissist. Right. Your way or the poor way. Right. These these are the people. I'm just take control freaks. These are people who they rather be right than rich. Right. They rather be right than happy. Right. They rather have no friends and because they already got their best friend themselves. Right. These are the people who don't listen to their team members. Like they have highly intelligent people in their teams, but they will not listen to them and take advice from them to save their life. As let me share some with you. In this industry, especially if you are recruiting up, right? If you're hitting your chicken list and you got people who make more money than you on your team, people who have more education and industry than you do on your team, they're on your team. Doesn't mean that because they're on your team, you're smarter than they are. Right? It just means you got in first, right? Doesn't mean that you're more qualified to take them to the next level. It just means you got in first, right? And so don't be a tyrant. If you got people like I have a team full of people who do a lot of different things, right? And I make sure that I get out of their way. Like I had Sarah George do a knockdown drag out training on my Saturday morning training, and she killed it 2 hours straight, dominated, right? I'm just telling you, Angel Trend trains on role playing all the time. Idris Alaka trains on solo all the time. Um, Landon Taylor was training on lead generation all the time. Dale Boudreaux changed on just trained on Grant Cardone and building your own economy. We have people who Sabrina Tumlin, a project manager for our roofing project, right? We empower people, guys. We put people in a position to win, and we take feedback, right? That's how you win. That's how you win. That's how you build a winning organization, not by being a tyrant. Okay, that's that's what you call creating a culture of success, and you're building it with a system. As if you look at like Tuesday nights, we're developing our presenters every Tuesday night. I have a lineup of presenters that are coming from my team that are presenting every Tuesday night, right? And then you have other people like Chris McHenry, and other people who are recruiting or presenting on Thursday night. Guys, again, they're part of the system. Chris McHenry is just taking another position in the company because the owner said, "Hey, look, we need you to play another role," and he volunteered for it. And now you're gonna see him more active, and you're gonna see him more responsible for a lot of things that's going on. It's systematic, guys. I'm telling you, don't be a tyrant and don't serve a tyrant. Okay. If you have a tyrant, you need to go have a conversation with somebody. Right. But these are control freaks, guys. Like when I say your way or the poor way, I meant that. Okay. When I say these are micromanaging bosses. These are people who use manipulation as a tool, and these are people who are the most emotionally abusive, not just to their team, but to their significant others. Okay. So again, pay attention to what's going on. If you have some of those traits, address them. If you don't, Pay attention to what I just said because you'll see them. If you haven't seen them in your team yet, it's because you don't have a big enough team yet. But one day you will, right? So the next one, mediocre mentality. This is the average Joe. Okay? Hey, the mediocre mentality, mentality. This is the average Joe. I was listening to something today. And it was crazy because it was one. It was a short, and it started off: success is spiritual, and mediocre is demonic. I'm gonna say that again: success is spiritual, and mediocre is demonic. You were born for greatness. You were born to do amazing things, and I'm gonna just say right now that that's where the spiritual side comes in. That everybody has a spiritual connection, regardless to who you worship or who you're tied to. Uh, that spiritual connection, puts you here to be great, not to be average, right? I say your life is your gift from your personal creator, and what you do with it is a gift to him. And I'm gonna just tell you guys, a lot of people are losing on purpose. A lot of people are losing on by default, right? If you have someone on your team that has a it's good enough attitude type of attitude, guys, you ever hear somebody say, "No, that's good enough. That's fine." Oh man, get them people away from me. Keep those people away from me because I don't want to catch what they got. Okay, I like dealing with people who have an attitude of excellence. Okay? And I'm gonna tell you, that person, like I if I had somebody who want to stab me in the back, I can kind of see them coming. Okay. But the person who is on your team that's a mediocre individual, they practice and perfected mediocrity, which means that they might be one hell of a guy or one hell of a gal, and they might be people that people love, which makes them even more dangerous because the more people love them, the more they associate with them. The more they associate with them, the more they conform to them. The more they conform to them, the more they buy into their habits, activity, or lack thereof. And all of a sudden, you got somebody who was on the fence that was, about to go do something great. Now they're not. Okay, access, right? These people lack ambition, right? They prioritize ease over effort. They run from pain and hard work. Okay, and they avoid challenges because they have a fear of failure as well. Okay, and so again, don't hang around mediocrity, because again, you'll end up mediocre. Just telling you. The next one, gossip. Call this one two faces, right? Or the rumor mill. Either one will work, right? How many of you know that gossipers recruit gossipers, right? And how many of you know that over the years, when you hear gossip, you think the old lady sitting on a stoop, rollers in her hair, drinking coffee, cigarette in the other hand, talking about the next door neighbor or the lady across the street, right? I'm gonna just tell you right now, that's changed because now you have more men gossiping than women now, and ain't nothing worse than a gospel man. Ain't nothing worse than a gospel man. Okay. But these people get you crossed up in their mess, guys. And when somebody comes and this is the thing, when somebody comes and tells you about what somebody who gossips says, you say thank you. And then you say, well, let me ask you a question. Why do they feel so comfortable coming to you to talk about me? And why you let them talk about me long enough for you to get all this information? Right? Because I'm gonna tell you, people who gossip, you know what I'm saying, with you will gossip about you. I'm just telling you, you gotta pay attention to what's going on. Make sure you understand this. There's no room in your world for somebody who gossips. That person has an agenda. That person has a lot of other things going on in their life that you don't want to be a part of, right? But if you talk about somebody to me, I'm gonna tell you this: stop. Let's call that person, right? Let's get them on the phone. Let's get them on the Zoom because that person out here to defend themselves. Let's make sure we get. And what you'll see is the person crawfish or backpedal or whatever you want to call it. They skedaddle or whatever you want to do with it, right? They're not gonna hang around because now you just put them in a position where they get exposed. Okay. And that's a problem for them. But they're never willing to validate any of the claims that they have about their target. So keep that in mind. Just call people out. Right. Now, the next one is indifference when others are speaking. indifference when others are speaking. This is the critic. The critic. Now, this will be quick. These people are horrible listeners, right? Because they're listening to find flaws. All right. They rather be understood than to get an understanding because they lack empathy. Think about this for a second. You ever talk to somebody that's like, they so caught up in trying to be understood that they missed the whole understanding. They missed the whole point of the subject. It just went over their head. They're not even trying to hear what you got to say, right? And these people, when they, again, like I said, they have no empathy for anybody else. They're just listening to get their point across because as soon as you finish talking, they're gonna start. They hear one way. It's just the only thing they're waiting for you to do is stop. Okay, but you're supposed to listen and learn, right? But they can't because they're too skeptical and very, very nitpicky. Okay, and so when you get those type of people around you again, if you're one of those people, stop it. If you get those type of people around you, address it. Talk to them about it. Okay, talk to them about it. And this is when you ask them the question: Hey, if I knew something that you were doing that was going to cost you some money, or cost you some friends, or cost you some associates, would you want me to tell you? Like, that's a question, right? If I knew you were doing something that will cost you some money, cost you your business, cost you some friends, cost you some colleagues, would you want me to tell you? And you can use that for any of these, right? And say, okay, well, look, I appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me to share it. Now you have permission to be honest with them, right? Now you have permission to be honest with them. So with that permission, what you do is you handle with care, right? You be direct, but you give it to them in a way where they can receive it, right? Where you're not attacking them, okay? You're not belittling them. You put them in a position that you're trying to help them, and once you help them, they know you're not going to go gossip about nobody, no go gossip nobody else about what y'all just talked about, and you may change that, give impact change in that person's life. Okay, you may impact change in that person's life. So that leads me to the next one: volunteering unsolicited advice when they were uh, not asking for it. Volunteering unsolicited advice when it wasn't requested, right? This is the know it all. So, this is the know it all, right? This person here is a person that's always trying to show you how much they know, how smart they are, right? They try to finish the sentences, and they think it's cool, but it's not. Even when you ever hear like the movies say, "Oh my God, he finished my sentences." Yeah, that don't work in real life. This ain't a movie. People hate that, actually. You know what I'm saying? Don't cut people off because you're trying to, cut them off at the pass because you want to finish their sentence. As I used to do that. You know what I'm saying? I did. That was one of my things. Just being transparent. And when I got around people who were personally developed and I had somebody pull me to the side, they say, yeah, they basically helped me out with that because they cared. And so that's the thing. Don't talk about a person when you see a person struggling, because they don't know any better, because they're ignorant, right? A lot of people hadn't been taught right. You know what I'm saying? They had been taught better. They had the right examples. Okay. But their free advice is often worth what it costed. Nothing but the patience, right, that it took to listen to it. A lot of times. Because these are people who just they want to be a part of something, want to be a part of the conversation, they want to be heard, right? And this is just the way for them to feed their ego without getting permission and being rejected. Because when they do it that way, they don't have to ask for permission. They'll just say I'm sorry, or you cut them off, or if you call them out on it. Okay. So the next one, disingenuous compliments. Guys, people can tell when you're flattering them for a reason that's not genuine or that's not true, right? If you say, "Oh my God, nice shoes," and this person's got some brogans on, right? Or even if you say, "Oh my God, that's such a gorgeous baby," and that baby is not gorgeous, right? Every baby ain't beautiful. Every baby is beautiful under God. You know what I'm saying? And like, you just come on. I mean, it just they know you have an agenda. You've just alerted them that you are about to ask for some pitch something, something's about to go down. And now their radar is up, right? And so don't be disingenuous. This will actually create resentment in people, especially people who you know, right? And that's not something you want. If you are going to compliment somebody, take the time to look at what they have on, or whatever it is that you can literally compliment them on. I don't like, oh my God, I love your hair, and her kitchen is just a wreck. You know what I'm saying? No, don't do that, right? Don't do that. So I'm just saying, be you know receptive. What I'm saying, be perceptive, right? Figure out what it is, pick it out. Whether it's a handbag and that's all that she got going on, right? Oh my God, I love that bag. My wife will love that. Where'd you get that from? Oh, by the way, I live in Houston. You'll never walk in the same store with her at the same time, right? All it takes is one thing, right? Oh, I love those shades. Hair can be up and a ponytail plait pulled out the back of her hat, right? And she could be in her mommy wear, which is the every woman starter kit, black spandex shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops, right? But those shades, oh my God, I love those shades. Where did you get those shades from? My wife will love those, right? And so give genuine compliments, guys. Let's see here. Ha. Vanity. Vanity by words and actions. This is the thing. Vanity by words and actions. This is the old great one. I call old great one. These are people who have never ever met a mirror, that they didn't like, right? They've never turned down a compliment because that's what they were fishing for, right? These are people who are excessive self-promoters, and they literally, if they're not saying me every 5 minutes, something's wrong. You got to check their temperature or something, right? And so they constantly make comparisons to each other and to other people, right? And so I see we talk about this. My wife talk about this all the time. You see people who when they start talking, oh my God, she don't do that like me, or she don't wear that like me, or he don't do this, and whatever it is, they always comparing themselves, and they're always coming up on the top, right? And you seeing like, I don't see it, but you're not saying anything because that's your friend, that's your partner, that's whatever it is. Just like, hey, look, you just watching them be them, right? That vain, that vanity is just running wild, right? Seeking admiration and compliments all the time. They're conceited and materialistic for others, not themselves. See, it's okay to treat yourself, but if you're buying something to get somebody else's attention, to please somebody else, you know what I'm saying? You spend all this money to get somebody to look at you and say, "Oh my God, that's amazing. You look amazing. Oh, that's fantastic. Where'd you get you're doing too much." Right? Treat yourself, guys. It's okay. Because when it comes to materialism, guys, I'm telling you, materialism, when you're doing it for yourself, you're rewarding yourself, right? You work for it, right? You paid for it. You deserve it, not the people you're trying to please. And for those of you who have a challenge with buying what you like based on the fact that you think people are gonna talk about you being materialistic, I'm gonna tell you something. Materialism starts at a point that somebody else can't afford it. Okay, and so just tell you that because a lot of you guys, well, that's excessive. You don't need, all them cars. I mean, you have like 13 pair of shoes or 32 pair of shoes, right? You got the same dress in 5 colors. I mean, you got the same polo in different styles. I mean, it's everybody's got what they like, what they want, and what they earn and what they pay for. Don't ever let a person make you feel bad, based on what you bought that they can't afford. Okay. So again, just want to make sure we get that out the way. But these people also, they're so vain they can't accept criticism. You're not going to critique them because they perfect. All right. So next one, something for nothing attitude. Something for nothing. How many of y'all know people like that? As I sip my coffee. Mm. These are the freeloaders or the takers. Either one of them will work. I call them freeloaders. Right. It don't matter what they freeloading on, guys. Everything has a condition when it's attached to them. So it's like if I'm gonna do something for you, oh, you got to do this. Or I'm not doing nothing at all. Right? There's always a condition. The leeches. There you go. The leeches. right? The sponges, right? These are people who are very entitled and opportunistic, right? They mooch. Hey, you get that, Daniela? They mooch, right? On everything from information, time, food, favors, money, ideas. They mooch everything. Friends. Can I borrow your friend? Like they mooch everything. Something for nothing. They bring nothing to the table and take everything away. Okay. These are people who you don't like people know these people and they don't trust them with important tasks, right? These are people that people know that they won't recommend to other people for anything. They won't support that person's ideas. Once you've been tagged as something for nothing person, right? A moocher, a freeloader, a taker, guys, people are not going to collaborate and partner with you. You're going to be the person who ruined the business. You're going to be the person that run out, right? You're going to be the person who's not going to be, as I tell people all the time, don't stop partnering with everybody because they call themselves your friend. Like people who come in businesses like this together in the same position, you got to be out your mind. Okay. If something happened between y'all, the moment one of y'all say, hey man, you ain't pulling your weight, but I'm still getting my half, right? Now, now it's the company can't separate that position. That's a legal battle. Now you gotta go to court to get it separated, right? That y'all ain't married, but y'all want to be cheap and spend $100 each. That's what it is, and $50 a month each. That's what it is. Stop sharing businesses. Yeah, like this $200,000 to join this company or something. But yeah, you don't want to do that. People, when you are a mooch, when you're a person like that, people don't care anything about you. They stay far away from you. They don't support you in anything. As a matter of fact, they actually put the word out on you. Right. The next one, they always speak openly about their problems. Okay. These are the Debbie Downers. And keep in mind, like I said, you're always going to have good people who are in all of these positions. You're always going to have some not so good people in all of these positions, and so you have people who have agendas, and you have people who don't. You have people who have agendas, and you have people who don't know what type of effect that they're having on other people around them, right? And so when you have a Debbie Downer, you have somebody who's always openly talking about their problems. Um, some are, like I say, are harmless, and some they're doing it to actually gain pity or favors. How many have people, oh, Carly, it's so hard to meet the rent this month. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, Erjan, oh my God, you know what? You know, the car stopped working last week, and Erjan, I know you out there, putting solar on everybody's roof. I seen you on the Instagram. You know what I'm saying? I seen you on the Instagram. I seen that you did 17, closings, last month, and I was just wondering, it's again, it's all, and even if it ain't for gain, guys, you know, sometimes those people mistake their doom and gloom for praise or for a call out, a call for help, right? And so, you got to have conversations. We was just talking about, we were just actually talking about this on Saturday, right? And so, again, you don't want the world to know your problems until you hit the big stage and tell them what you were going through when you actually were on your trip and on your journey to get into Builder 8,000, Executive 15, Executive 25, Executive 50, Executive 100, Executive 250. You want to when you hit that stage or when you get to the videos, you're Builder 4,000. They're interviewing you and you start talking about some of the things you did, or when you hit director and selling solar, or when you hit director or ED and one of these other verticals that we have, and now they're interviewing you. Now that's when you tell your story, right? Because people start going the other way, guys. That's a so you may think of it as a harmless habit, but it's a bad habit because you have other people who are going through their own things, and even if they're not, positive people don't want to be around it, right? It does something to their spirit, and so they get out of there. Ain't got nothing to do with you. It's got everything to do with self preservation, right? They introduce all their ailments, all their worries, all their challenges, all their problems, right? To people without people even asking them, "How are you doing?" Right? They just start spilling on them. They just start throwing up on them. Boom. They automatically assume it's okay to dump on them. And I'm using this terminology because I wanted to hit a certain way to where you have a conscious interrupt, right? They'll tell you everything about their lives, and it's always more bad than good. Right? So again, make sure, okay, we become a positive pilot instead of a Debbie Downer. Right? Next, and we have two more to go, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Right? Conveying superiority through words and actions. That word superiority, put a little bit of emphasis on it because that's for my people who had a little Napoleon complex. That's what, by the way, that's the nickname, Little Napoleon. And these people had that little Napoleon complex. They are very aggressive and they have dominant behavior, okay? And at the same time, they're very insecure, very insecure. Okay, these people who had a little Napoleon complex, guys, they tend to overcompensate. Right? They lack it in the area, you know. And I'm talking about they may be lacking in recruiting, they may be lacking in sales, they may be lacking in personality, they may be lacking in leadership skills, they may be lacking, but they overcompensate. They may be lacking because they don't have the car they want, you know, or the height that they want, or the weight that they want, the physique that they want, whatever it is, guys. You know, you have people who are now trying to use words, body language, posture, you know, status, all kind of different things to big boy you. Right? They these are people who they use condescending language. They name drop because they want to show you how important they are. They always have a one up mentality. It's not just me too old man. By the way, I had that, but I had two of them. Oh yeah, yeah. I did that. I went on vacation 19 times last year. I went to that place 5 times. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's always a one upsmanship. It's always I gotta be better than you instead of just celebrating somebody. Okay. Over talking people when they talk, real loud, real dominant with posture. They lean forward, all in your face, right? And so, God forbid they be your leader, right? So I'm just telling you that's not a real good position to take. That's not a real good position to be in when you are running a volunteer army. This is like church, guys. When I say it's like church, you don't have to go to this church, right? You can go to another church. When they say the doors of the church are open, is there one? You walk it up to the front, but just like you walk up to the front, you got people walking out the back because they don't like the ministry, or they don't like the pastor, they don't like the deacon, or they don't like whatever it is. They don't like little Napoleon at the front desk, you know what I'm saying, who's greeting people with a frown on their face, right? Or people who can't get to the pastor because they got little Napoleon at the desk answering the phones. Right? Whatever it is, it's the same thing here. They have other companies. Okay? So don't run people from this company to another one based on your bad attitude, right? And your need to have control. Next and last one. They envy those that are successful. I say the best for last. The hater. The hater. That's the easy one. Y'all don't need me to spell that one out, right? That's simple. These are other people who give backhanded compliments. These are a lot of other people who will never ever give you credit. And matter of fact, a lot of times they steal your credit if they can. If they're in a position to steal it, they'll steal it. Because if they steal it, that means you can't outshine them, right? Happens a lot, guys. I'm telling you, you have a lot of people who you wonder why they leave one company and they were only making $5,000 a month or $2,500 a month in that company, and then they get to another company. Oh my God. They're making 50 grand a month, 75 grand a month, 25 grand a month, 100 grand a month. And it's because leaving there took the lid off. Leaving there, they didn't have anybody suppressing them and hating on them. Right? It's like they were the over here in this toxic soil, and now they're over here thriving in a soil that's fertile, that's encouraging, that's celebratory. That's empowering, right? And so when you look at these people who envy you guys, they are in secret competition and excessive competition with you, and you don't even know it. All right. These are people who are belittling others and criticizing others while they judge others. That's what envy does to a person, guys. This is see, this is the thing. When you look at these things I'm talking about, people out there attempting to sabotage and undermine people, that happens every day because of envy. Happens in every company, at every job, in every church. It happens everywhere. You have human beings everywhere. And so if it's in you, if you find yourself envying people, like I had when I was coming up in the ranks in direct sales network marketing, it's like I never envied anybody on how well they spoke because I didn't speak well at all. I admired them. I let them inspire me, right? And I let them force me to get better because I knew I wouldn't get anywhere close to where they were unless I learned how to speak and deliver messages in a manner that people can receive it. But you have other people who are a little bit different. They don't want to see you win. They don't want to see you win at all. Matter of fact, they'll do whatever they can to sabotage you, not in just in private, but in public. These are people who they're going to always and forever put negative talk and bad press out there against other people that they envy. Okay, and so don't be a hater, be a congratulator, right? Don't be a person that again that envy will eat away at you, especially if you're in the same company. You have people in the same family, siblings, one sibling over another. Okay, just telling you, you have spouses, one spouse over another that envy each other. This is real stuff. Real. This ain't no network marketing. I'm telling you guys, this is real life stuff that people are suffering through right now as we speak. Have been suffering from for years, centuries. As long as there's been a man and a woman walking the face of earth, you've always had envy. You've always had a lot of this stuff, if not all this stuff that we talked about tonight. So, what I challenge you to do, okay, for once in your life, go focus on the negative. Right? Go find out what it is from this list. One thing, two things, three things, four things, five things, six things more. Right? Whatever it is. Like that's Sabrina. So whatever it is, right? That baggage that's holding you back right now, because this stuff here is baggage. Real talk baggage. Like Erica Badu wrote a song about this. You want to hear it? Here you go. Bag lady, you gonna miss your bus. You can't hurry up because you got too much stuff. I'm just telling you, this is the stuff that you got that's holding you down, right? This is the baggage that's keeping you in that same spot. If you get rid of this stuff, you'll be high speed, low drag, right? You'll be the Lambo, you'll be the Ferrari, right? You'll be doing 60 and 0 to 60, you know what I'm saying? 100 and 0 to 60 in a little bit, couple of seconds, right? If you just get rid of some of this stuff, just telling you, clutter kills. I love it. Clutter kills. I love it. Because you got this stuff cluttered on you, man. Any of this stuff or any combination of it, it'll do you in. Okay. So tomorrow night, guys, I'll be up at 7 o'clock p.m. with the Crazy Cajun Del Boudreaux. Okay. Carly, you ain't know I can sing? I can't sing. Y'all heard me not sing. That wasn't singing. Some of y'all almost logged off after that. That's okay. But tomorrow night, we will be doing a presentation, right? Myself, Dale Boudreaux, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Guys, pack it out. Because me and the Crazy Cajun, we're going to cook. I'm going to bring the soul food. He going to bring the spicy food, right? He might bring y'all some crawfish. So with that, hey, get back with the person who actually did not get on this call today. Make sure they jump on Facebook and watch it because it's on 24 hours on demand. They don't want to miss it, and you know they need it. The person who misses the trainings are always the person that the training was for. They needed it the most. Because some of y'all were saying, man, I sure hate X, Y, and Z wasn't on here. Go put X, Y, and Z on 24-hour on demand in Facebook, have them watch it, and make sure they report back to you on what they got out of that training. And I suggest each and every last one of you guys, whatever your nuggets was, put it in the chat. Put it in the WhatsApp chat. Put whatever feedback, whatever nuggets you got, whatever like whatever. If something hits you right between the middle of the eyes, you don't mind sharing it, pop it, put it on there, right? So people can see what they missed. They know they missed something when they start seeing that buzz, right? So love you guys. Y'all take care. And we'll see you guys at the top at the bank. And because of the event, we'll see you guys on the beach. Bye-bye for now.
That was brilliant, Mr. Bean.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Mr. Bean.
All right, guys.
I loved it. I loved it. I
Thank
loved
you.
it.
Mr. Bean.
All right.
You
Thank
hit
you,
them
Mr. Bean. That was
octaves.
fire.
You hit, yes.
Man.
You hit those octaves, Mr. Bean.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Bean.
All right, guys. Have a
Thank
good
Good
one.
you.
stuff.
Okay,
Hey,
thank you.
Chris, if you're
Recording
still on,
stopped.
there you go. Thank you. And go ahead and shut it off, Chris, because it's not letting me log all the way out.
Sam, you might just have to close the meeting
Let's see here.
and it should stop it for everybody.
Gotcha. Let me log out and log back in.
All right, Juan, you're host now, so I think you can end the meeting.
You got it.